Hello, Scott here. First guitar lesson video in quite a while. I got the idea to do this particular song from a subscriber. What we're going to do is break down each idea, both the synth parts and the guitar licks, note by note, each in turn. The times on the title cards are referencing the Animotion Vivo video, so we'll be totally on the same page. Alright, let's get started. That main synth theme is a set of triads. We're going to be using D minor, which is on the first, second, and third string, all on fret 10, and I'm just gripping them with first finger. The second triad is going to be on fret 8, and we're going to have first string fret 8, second string fret 8, and third string fret 9. The third triad we'll need is a G triad, and that's going to be a D major shape, but on fret 7. And then the last triad we'll need is F, which is that same shape on fret 5. So that's going to be frets 5, 6, and 5 again. So our progression there, we're going to get D minor, C, back to D minor, D, C, G, G to F, back to C, and then the riff begins again. So we'll cycle through that twice. Here's that idea played through slow a couple of times. Synth theme 2 outlines two triads, D major, which is going to be fret 10 on the first string, 10 on the second string, 11 on the third string. And we're also going to have fret 12 on the third string as part of the melody. And the second chunk of that theme is based around a G major shape, which is gripping the second, third, and fourth strings on fret 12. And again, there's going to be one note outside of the triad, this C. So when I put those two together, and then we'll also get this A at the end of that on string 5, fret 12. F sharp, G, A, D, C, B, G, D, A. And the second time through, almost the same. Ending on A on fret 12 of the third string. Synth theme 3 is two arpeggiated chord shapes, and they're going to look like this. They're pretty high in the neck. Fret 14, first string, fret 15 on the second string, and fret 17 on the third string. So it's an arpeggiated D7 chord. The second chord is sort of a G7, but there's a C in it, which I guess would be a G11. And we can grip the first and second strings on fret 13, which is an F, a C, and then we'll get B on fret 16 to the third string. So in context with that riff. Alright, guitar riff over the chorus. Deal there, it's a pretty straightforward power chord riff. So the first one of these is a C chord, fret 3 on the 5th string, and a 5th away on the 5th fret of the 4th string. And we'll do a slide up to D, 2 frets up, striking the D chord when you get there. And then we'll repeat that maneuver. And the other half of the riff is on fret 8. It's an F chord, executing the same idea up to a G chord. All right, around 142, there's a fill. And the deal is I'm grabbing double stops. I like to use my second and third finger. This one's on the 3rd and 4th string, fret 10. And we'll move to 9 and 7. And what I do is mute on the way down and catch the chord on the way back up with an upstroke. Alright, that idea is built around a couple of chord shapes. One's a D7 in the 10th position, and how we're going to grab that is 3rd finger on A, fret 12, string 5, C, fret 10 on the 4th string, and F sharp on the 3rd string. What we'll do is arpeggiate that low to high. And for these phrases, at the top of every arpeggio, we'll vibrato that note briefly and slide off. The other chord shape in this idea is a G7, and we're going to get string 5, fret 10, string 4, fret 9, and the F on 3rd string, fret 10. This next idea is a lead guitar lick. It's all harmonics, and you'll hear it toward the end of the song, around the 232 mark, pretty deep in, over that main synth theme. It'll sound like this in context. So there's a few natural harmonics and a bar dive at the end. You can't get much more 80s than that. So the deal is we'll be on fret 7 on string 4. Let that ring for a second, and then we'll do string 3, 4, 3, fret 5 on string 3, and then there's a harmonic on the 3rd fret, string 3. After letting that sustain for a second, then you do a bar dive. It's very, very 80s, Van Halen-esque. Last verse has got some guitar work in there out of the 5th position minor pentatonic scale. And it just involves a lot of palm muting and some pull-offs out of using these notes. Fret 7 on the 3rd string, it's a D. Fret 5, C, and then the A below the D. This is fret 7 on the 4th string. So using these 3 notes in context, the riff sounds like. And that section ends with that fill we got earlier on. But the idea is that we're playing that 7th fret, pulling off to 3rd, or pulling off to 5th fret on the 3rd string. And then we're hitting some muted notes to fill in the space. So if you have the pressure off with your 3rd finger, you can get a couple of muted notes before. And it creates kind of a cool effect. Alright, for the demo tracks that I've been using, I had plugged into my Boss loop station that synth bass riff, and this runs through the entire song, really I think without variation, and the first chunk of this is going to use these 3 notes, the C on fret 3 of your 5th string, 3rd fret, and a D, which I'm going to get on fret 5 of the same string, C and D, and then E on the 4th string. And the idea loops a bit like that, and it's implying a D chord, but there's no 3rd in there. There's no F or F sharp. So it's kind of an ambiguous riff that we're getting our root D, a flat 7 C, and the 9 above that. Or you could think of it even as a sus2. And what's interesting about that bass line is, since it's a little ambiguous, some of our riffs, like that synth riff, are in D minor, and a lot of the other riffs have an F sharp in there, which is saying D dominant. So sometimes in our other parts we're hearing major thirds and sometimes minor thirds. But with that synth riff, we're going to get that idea first on D, and then we're going to move over a string group and do the exact same thing. For the other chunk of that. So if you wanted to play that, that's really something that your bassist or a synth player would probably cover. But if you wanted it for practice purposes to put it into your looper, that's how I did that. And then to make it sound more like a bass, I have the Boss OC3 Super Octave, and I just kicked on the octaver to drop that down. I often do that when I'm playing things into the looper to practice over. If you've gotten this far, I think we have covered all the synth and guitar parts in this song, so enjoy them, have fun practicing, and I will be back soon with another lesson. And if you have any songs that you'd like me to tab out, just leave them in the comments section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, much appreciated. Planning on being more active here again and putting out some fresh content, hopefully at least one new thing a month, and I appreciate all the support. Thanks, see you soon.